Welcome to Joy of Business Radio, hosted by Joy of Business facilitators from around the world, with special shows from Simone Milasas, the founder and creator of Joy of Business. Are you bored or dissatisfied with your work or business? Joy of Business is an invitation to a completely new way of creating. Did you know your business and job can actually be fun and joyful? If what you are currently doing isn't working for you, listen into this show full of pragmatic tools from Access Consciousness, which change everything in business, from money to finance, staff, creativity, productivity, communication, and beyond. Joy of Business Radio, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Hello and welcome to Joy of Business OMTimes Radio. I'm one of the facilitators of Joy of Business. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I'm here with my friend Doris Schachenhofer, and we are going to have some fun today talking about uncomfortableness in business. Does it create or destroy growth? Hi, Doris.
Hello, Laleh.
How are you?
I'm really, really good. I just came back from a workshop that I gave, and it was the most amazing so far. Just really beautiful. And I'm quite uncomfortable today.
What a perfect timing for our show.
I know.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because most people.
Where you are right now? Are you at home or somewhere in the world?
Yes. So today I'm in Washington, D.C., and I'm going to be here for a few days, and then I'm off to some other fun countries.
Cool.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. We picked out this particular title before today, and uncomfortableness is one of those things, one of the words that people don't even want to know, don't want to talk about. It's like one of the things they try to stay away from. But I wonder, from even your experience of what you're perceiving today after having, like you said, one of the best workshops so far, how can we actually use this energy of uncomfortableness to our advantage? Do you want to share a little bit about your world of uncomfortableness right now?
Yeah. So I facilitated a class in the last for 5 days now, and it was just so beautiful. In the workshops we give, it's all about being more of you, receiving more of you, and they were also receiving more other things like business or money or relationships, whatever it is. And people were so willing to go into more of them, and me supporting them and contributing to them over the days. It was just a gift to me back, that it was so beautifully received. So my world opened up as well, and my receiving opened up as well. And it's something that you cannot really define. It's not really graspable. It's more, it's like, did really something change? And it doesn't feel like something, but there is something that is quite uncomfortable. And this is where your world grows, where you grow in your being. And then there is also the choice to really fill the new space, fill the new you with that opened up. So I woke up today, and then it's this thing of like, is it really happening? What's going on? Am I wrong? Was it really that amazing? And what I chose for myself today is like I really require nature because I live here in the city in Vienna, in a really beautiful area. And then I walked up to a wood where almost no one is walking. That's really a wood. It's a treasure for me. It's like this golden place where I know I can go almost any time and no one is there. And I walked into the through the woods for, I think, almost 3 hours, and was asking for whatever I have created and we have created in the last days. It was all the conversations that we had about business and body and money, and we had a lot of conversations about sex that is really vulnerable, where it's really people need to to have the courage to talk about it. And it gets uncomfortable for everyone, because you go into areas of your life that for a long time you have hidden, or there's a lie there, and then you change it around to really look what is true for you, and this is not always comfortable. And it was really amazing. And I made a video in the forest to just let people know what's going on for me, and that I chose to be in the nature, and that somehow it doesn't feel like anything. And there is a change. And some of my participants just sent me a message and said, thank you so much. I came home. Yesterday there was this big wow in my world, and when you are together, and you're so grateful. And then and she said she woke up today and she had the sense nothing happened. Because there was no different feeling somehow. But when she saw my video, she said, everything is different if I get the sense and really allow it to be here, that I have it, that I can now create my life from this different, we say space, from these different possibilities, from the truth that I opened up myself in these days. So,
Doris,
yeah.
I'm wondering if we can give the listeners more information. I mean, people have been listening to Joy of Business. They might have a better way of perceiving what you're sharing. But most people, when they go to a seminar or they go to a workshop, right, they go thinking, oh, I'm here because I have to learn from the teacher. I'm here because, I'm going to get from A to Z all the ways that I'm going to be better in business. I'm going to be better in my life. I'm going to be better with money. And one of the things that's so different with these Joy Business classes and these access classes is that actually what happens is that you do walk in with judgments of yourself. I'm not making enough money, or this isn't happening in my life, or whatever. But with the tools, you actually start to melt away those judgments and all the things that you've made so solid to think, this is my only option in life, right? My business can only look like this, or, my employees, blah, 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 blah. But what you end up realizing from these classes is that actually a whole new world that becomes available that you may have not thought was possible before, or maybe you didn't even think it could actually be this amazing, right? And then so the day after you wake up, you're no longer in that space that was all of you creating it together. Now you are being that space of that new possibility, that new adventure, but it's so uncomfortable because it's no longer the same patterns, the same reference points that you had before. And what I love is what you shared about, the places, the conversations your participants were willing to have, because that meant they actually lowered their barriers, put away the walls of what's actually holding them back from growing their business, and they started to look from within and what do they desire to create. And so I just love what you shared, and I'm wondering, you as a facilitator, it's not like we're perfect. We actually are experiencing, growing, expanding, changing, melting while we're facilitating too.
Yeah.
So
totally.
So the next day, we are now aware of this whole new world of uncomfortableness.
That's totally true. And this time, I really had the demand, to be even more present, to be even more vulnerable, to be even more honest. And we also say naked, where you lower your barriers and be with the person, no matter what it brings up, and just be. And this group invited me to so much that it was not always comfortable, but I knew it is the places that we together, from one question, it was like, what will create more, going there and having these conversations, or, just say la, 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 la. And what I get as well, what makes these classes so beautiful is that we talk a lot about being congruent, what you're saying, looking at what's light in your world and what's heavy in your world. And we have so learned to talk to a heavy energy. We so learned to say something and I think it's right, but if you then really have a conversation around it and really say, are you sure this is what you just told yourself is really light in your world? Is this really true for you? And these little things change so much because people say, I think I have I'm not really good in creating a business. It's only this one sentence. This might change everything if you really look at what does it create for you when you say this. And these are little things, or we say, I don't like my body or, my legs or my whatever, my hair. And this is also, it's a little sentence, but it's like, is it really true for you, or is it something you have learned or you should have in your world, that there is something you don't like about yourself, that is something that's not easy for you, and then you tell it over and over and over again, and this is what you're creating instead of, is this really true for me? Yeah. It's really true for me. And I know that you have experienced the same of this a small thing that changes a big thing in your whole world, because then the possibility shows up of oh, maybe I do like my body. Maybe I do have ease grading. Maybe I don't have that much problems with money that I thought I had. And so we are so used about the heaviness of the world. Yeah.
It's so interesting. I was just thinking of an event that we did in Washington, D.C., and the sales director of the hotel, the first thing she said to me is, for the first time when she worked with me and the people that I'm working with, she never had the heaviness. She said it just didn't feel heavy and stressful. It just seemed like even if we had conflict, if something came up that was unexpected, we always found an easy way around it. And I think that's the thing that we take for granted, is that we actually can have more of that in our lives. That doesn't have to be the norm, that everything is heavy and tough. And, business is tough. You have to have toughness in everything you do. You have to have struggle and all those other things that are really not true. So, well, we're coming up actually to our first break. And you're listening to Joy of Business on Radio, and we'll be right back.
No one needs to have a money problem, especially you.
Yeah, did you hear that? You have an unlimited and mostly unaccessed capacity to create money and a financial reality that works for you. Simone Milasas has a brand new book. It's called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. And right now, when you go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com, if you pre-order the book, you'll get a free online course. What if you can create money in ways no one else can? Just go to gettingoutofdebtjoyfully.com to get your copy today.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer O'Neill, and I'd like to invite you to come join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time for my show, Spirit Chat. Spirit Chat focuses on simplifying the process of using the spiritual tools and gifts you were born with in a way that fits into your everyday life. I also teach different techniques that will help you learn how to navigate the spirit realm and empower you on your own spiritual journey. So join me this Wednesday as I guide you through the spirit world.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Hello and welcome back to OMTimes Radio Show with my friend Laleh Hancock, and my name is Doris Schachenhofer. And before the first break, we talked about heaviness in the world and what you have experienced in Washington, D.C. with one of your workshops, right?
Yes. It was actually one of Dr. Dane Heer's classes, events that we had in D.C., and it was so interesting. Just, I think we walk around the world not realizing how much ease we bring into the world. You know what I'm saying? And that was definitely one of those moments of where heaviness doesn't have to be there. But I want to differentiate heaviness and uncomfortableness. Because sometimes people like to mix them together where they're actually very different. I always say it's like the roundabouts, when you're driving and then you go in a circle that just keeps going to a circle. Well, when you're doing the same thing over and over again, when it's that comfortableness, you're not really going anywhere. You're just going in that continuous circle. The uncomfortableness of what I'm talking about is your willingness to make a choice to, you know what, I'm actually going to go straight. I'm going to go right. I'm going to go left. I'm going to go a different way that brings you to things that you've never even thought were available or possible. So uncomfortableness to me is this feeling, energy, however you want to describe it for you, that actually shows you're growing and you're expanding your life, where heaviness, that feeling of contraction, that feeling of like, for me, it's usually either in my stomach or in my chest area. And that's actually where something just doesn't resonate with you. It just may not be true for you. So differentiating those, I think, is important, because when you are perceiving that heaviness, ask more questions. Like, what is true for me here? Like, is this my opinion? Is it my point of view? Or am I just actually aware of something different? And then the uncomfortableness, I would just say, how much fun can I have with this energy? And what have I stepped into? What else is available now that I haven't even acknowledged yet? So it just comes from a very different level of excitement for me, actually.
Yeah. I love how you describe it. That's beautiful. And uncomfortable for me is also where we step into areas that are unfamiliar to us, that are unknown, because it's like some area or an expansion into something that maybe no one else has experienced before, and it's something new for you. So it's always like an adventure, when we do something new. It's like we're a little bit excited. We could also say we're a little bit afraid. Most of us are less afraid and more excited. Know it. And right. And so and because when we define something as heavy, also this is where we would back off, I would say. A lot of people would not go there. This is where you go into conclusion and also take yourself the chance to expand your life, to have something greater, instead of the uncomfortableness is the invitation to something greater and something more. But it's like people are saying, yeah, but why does it need to be uncomfortable? It doesn't. It's also, I would say, it's also a definition of something. You can have the word uncomfortableness. You could also say, oh, something is happening. It's where we shy away about something because we have learned to put a word on something, right? Mm-hmm. If we would not define it as uncomfortable, it's an expansion of something where something is happening.
And you know, it's interesting because, like, in business, I look at the moments prior to having the Joy Business tools. You know, some of it was so much innate for me. I was already being and doing these tools before Access. But, like, I was just looking at my career and, you know, there were moments where people would say, hey, you have to do this presentation, or, you know, they would put you on a project, or they would have you call a client that was not happy and things of that sort. And I was just, like, thinking of, like, those moments immediately when someone said, hey, a client's not happy, you have to call them and fix it. There could be that sense of heaviness as well as uncomfortableness that might be part of it together. So I realized anything that was difficult or someone else would have called it difficult was always easy for me. So I'm just wondering, like, what are those moments in our lives, in our business, in our job, and whatever we're doing, parenting, right? Parenting in there too. Mm-hmm. Like those moments where we have associated uncomfortableness as well as this heaviness, like the tools that we can actually use. Doris, what would you do? Like if you were in a situation right now with a colleague, right? You're at work and you have something going on with a colleague and you are experiencing both these energies, that uncomfortableness and heaviness. Like what would you do? What would you choose at that moment?
Oh, you know, first I would, we have this amazing tool that is called Who Does This Belong To? So I would ask myself, whatever I'm sensing here, whatever is coming up for me, is this mine? Yeah. You know, the energy or the feeling or the emotion I have to, or the thoughts that I have to it, is this really mine, or am I just aware of something? Because this is the first step where you can see, if I don't make it real and true and don't take it personal, what am I aware of? And do I really need to do something, or just acknowledge that there is something going on? Mm-hmm. And there often the ease is coming in, you know, and the first thing of it's a problem, I need to work on it, or I need to change it, this whole need of changing and doing something goes away. And really looking at, okay, it can be a problem, you know, whatever is going on with a colleague. And maybe it has nothing to do with me, but I'm aware of something. Yeah. So this would be the first thing that I would go to. And it depends on the situation then, what I would do next. Sure. I would see if it's like a close working together or not. And most of the time, things that we think has something to do with us is not personal, because we have not asked the other person a question, you know, like, how are you being? What's going on in your world? Because if you have information, you might see also that people have their own things going on that come into the business, that come into the project, and then it seems like it has to do something with the business or with the workplace, but it does not. You know, but often we just don't know how to deal with the things that come up in our world and bring it wherever we go. And then it affects other people. And then we have something going on that was never meant to, you know, to influence this situation.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Like just this one tool, and I'm sure people who've been listening to the show often, like, have heard it a lot of times, but for me, it's interesting. I learned this tool 7 years ago, and each day I get such a different world of what this tool can assist me with, you know? Yeah. And I think if I had this one tool when I was in the corporate world, wow, what that would have changed. Because I always knew when I walked into a room what had happened. I knew if there was joy there. I knew if there was frustration there. I knew if a big problem just landed on somebody's plate. Like, I just knew. And it was so easy to walk in that room and become part of whatever that was, you know, where we don't have to be soaked into what's happening to people. Instead, that one question of, you know what? Okay, before I choose to just get upset here, okay, who does all of this belong to? Is it mine? Is it someone else's? Is it something else? And just that freedom of allowing you not to soak it into your body. Because I think that's one of the things with the whole uncomfortableness. You know, you're perceiving things in your body, and a lot of people just want to ignore it, the tightness in their chest, you know, or whatever's going on in their body. But if it's not yours, you don't even have to do anything. You know, just return it to the sender with consciousness attached is one of my favorite tools. Because then you let it go to not the person, but where all that got created, you know, you just allow it to zap away and your body relaxes. And, you know, when I look at that uncomfortableness combined with the heaviness, you know, if I ask the question, okay, if this was not a problem and it was a possibility, what else would I be aware of? And what else could we put into the business today? Or, you know, who can we, like, it just, there's a whole slew of other questions that come up. But it's that first moment of taking you out of going into defense mode to attack, to actually look at, okay, now what's possible? You know, and I wonder, like, just from those two questions, who does this belong to? And if this was not a problem, what possibilities are available for us to choose here? Like, what else would actually change? I really wonder.
Me too. I love this question. And it changes so much, right? And it's recently I posted on my social media, nothing and nothing is a problem. Nothing. It's all a possibility. What if we would allow ourselves to notice and ask for it and have this different perspective? Yeah. And we are at our next break. And let's see where we go in our third.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Tune in to the Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Putting the fun back in business. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, go to bed, repeat. Business, work, your job. Hate it, bored, want to leave it? Or business, work, your job fun, play, joy, fun? Which would you like to choose? You may not know this, but business, your job, work can actually be fun. Shake up your business routine. Check out my 3-part free video series on putting the fun back in business. Go to accessjoybusiness.com/fun and put the fun back in business.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome to Joy of Business on OMTimes Radio. My name is Laleh Hancock, and today my friend Doris Schachenhofer and I are chatting about uncomfortableness in business creates or destroys growth. And I actually want to continue our conversation that you had, Doris. You just started it when you said, I just put on my social media, nothing is a problem. What if everything is a possibility? And, you know, that's how people make money in business. That's how people create new businesses, because they find there is a problem or something could be better. You know, there's something we can improve. There's a more efficient way of doing something. But, like, that's actually the possibilities that allows more businesses to be created, generated, and to grow. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, totally. I, like, really in my personal life, in my business, I got a check recently, but I say a bill, that it was much higher than I had expected. Or, you know, it just came in, I was like, oh, wow. So, and not having the money for the whole bill right now in my bank account. So the post was also like, to myself, it's like, this is not a problem. It's really a possibility to ask for something greater, to have a bigger asking for my business, and to not be pathetic now and sitting here and saying, oh my God, I don't know how to pay it. This is where we go into the, how should this work out? What, you know, finding the way. It's the possibilities showing up from questions. So, and already I've paid it. And it was really where I told myself, no, this is not a problem. I don't need to make a problem out of it. What is the possibility here? What can I create here now? What would be a possibility that I have not considered? And what questions can I ask to access the possibilities? And it was such a gift for me. And it also, what opened up is a demand of even more creation, a business that brings in even more money, that, if there is a bill coming in, I can pay it with ease. And even if there is a bill coming in that is a little bit more than I have right now, that I don't go into freak out or angst or, you know, this thing of where you almost freeze and you're not able to take the next action or ask a question.
Well, what I love about that conversation, Doris, is that it also shows you where you haven't been truly aware of the business. Like, you haven't been fully present in a particular area.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so I love the tool, what is right about this, I'm not getting, because sometimes it's so hard to say those words out loud, you know, because the situation just seems to be so weird. But at the same time, when you ask it, you allow you to get out of the problem mode and actually allow you to look at it from a different perspective and say, and you know what I love about the other part of this is that you're not alone. You know, your business has your back. Consciousness has your back. The universe has your back. You have other people that could be a contribution to you if you're willing to receive it. And what's right about this also opens the channels, the doors to allow others to contribute, other energies, other people, you know, and really lets us look at all the ways we take our businesses for granted and not allow the business to have our back or its own back.
And you know, this situation was not comfortable at all.
Yeah.
and how our child is, are we using it to destroy our business or to create our businesses, you know? You can also destroy everything of going into this mode of, I cannot do it, it's too much, I failed, and all these things, what will not create anything, and it will be even harder to go on or pay or whatever the what you think is a problem is, instead of, okay, I love that, and I did it. I asked the question, what's right about this? I'm not getting. If I don't make myself wrong, what is the possibility here? You know, what is the gift in this? Because if you don't define it as a problem, there's always a gift. There is always the gift of growing, the gift of receiving something new, the gift of asking who or what can I invite or ask, you know, ask for help as well. I have so learned to do everything on my own, you know. I can deal with everything. Now I have the tools. This is, for me, a great way of using the tools against it. It's like I have the tools. I need to deal. Yeah, you know, I need to handle everything on my own because I have everything. And I'm like, no, there's so many people out there and possibilities out there. I can also invite someone else, you know, asking questions with me or helping me or supporting me or whatever the situation is to grow my life and my business and with people. Someone recently told us, what if you could grow your staff in your business like double it yearly? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, that's an amount, because also a lot of people, I think, would go into, you know, looking at the money if this is possible, instead of looking at what will create if I double my staff, and trusting and knowing that the money will come with the choice.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the thing we don't do a lot of. Like, we look at the money right now. We don't look at the possibilities of the money that actually wants to be created when we're willing not to just do it by ourselves, you know, because you're inviting someone else's energy. You're allowing a whole new world and universe of supporting you and having your back, you know? And I really wonder, like, when we do that, what else is possible?
And, you know, this is where I see us creating, and with the Joy of Business tools and Joy of Business in the world, there is something different here. There's a different angle here and a different perspective. A lot of people would really count through and sit together and think through if the project will work or not, but it's more coming from thinking and the linear way of, okay, if we do this and this and this, it will bring us there. Yeah. Have I lost you?
No, I'm here. And that's, it's funny because, like, that's what best practices in business were. You know, if you do A plus B, you'll get C as the results. But it doesn't work. People go spend so much money trying to figure it out from how did someone else do it, instead of someone else sharing tools and saying, hey, I can give you information, but it's about you listening to your business, trusting you, you know, figuring out what is actually fun for you, because, you know, this is called Joy of Business. You don't have to laugh every moment out of the day, but the things that bring you the joy, the things that actually get you excited are the things that will make you money. But those same things may not make me joyful, may not make me want to get up, you know, every morning trying to do that, and therefore it may not work in my life. So it's about really looking at what else is truly available and possible. And, you know, if we are willing to like you said earlier on in the conversation, be honest with you. You don't have to tell everyone else everything, but the willingness to be honest with you and your business and allow you to choose what's going to work and what's not going to work. I think a lot of times in business, we're trying to look good. We're trying to, do it like everybody else, but that's not you being you. And that's not what's going to allow your business to grow. So I really wonder what else is possible when people are actually willing to, just ask themselves some questions of like, what is fun for me? What are things that I do that are so easy that I totally take them for granted?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, Doris, if I asked you that question, what would come up?
But so easy for me that I take it. I would really say also, I've asked this question. I had a conversation recently with other friends as well, but they said, you know what? I know some parts, but I'm still in the question. So what if there is not only one thing that is easy for you, and there is no end to it? Then you can ask, because if you would allow yourself to see how many things are easy for you, you could create more revenue streams for yourself with all of this.
No, Doris, don't tell them all the ways they could use it to their advantage.
Oh my God. Not too much. Not too easy.
But see, it really is never one thing. But just your willingness to ask that question right now, it might just be energies that come up. But later, you might be doing something and then you're like, oh, this is easy for me. What would it take for me to create different revenue streams with this? And it's just being in that curiosity mode.
Totally. And with this easy thing for ourselves, we often think, or when I heard this the first time, I thought it needs to be something spectacular, something big. Yeah. I don't know what, but this was in my world. So I could, of course, not see the simple thing because this was not spectacular enough. And a lot of people do things the whole time, but never think about to make money out of it. Because if you love cooking, it's something you do for private, And then people would not think about, maybe I could create a revenue stream out of it. Maybe I could make money with it. Because I just do it, for me, for my family, and it's a hobby. And this might be something where you see what is somehow a thing that is more like a hobby that could make you money. And for me, I've always worked with people, and I'll see the next break is coming up. So I wonder what you will tell us, and I might tell you what's mine. See you then.
What do you hate about business? And do you want to change it? If you don't want to change anything about your job or business, stop listening. You're all good. If you'd like to have money just for the fun of it and stop the negative self-talk, check out Joy of Business. This is about knowing what you know about business and creating more than you can imagine. Access Joy of Business 101 classes offered around the world. Go to accessjoyofbusiness.com/101.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me, and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Well, welcome forward to the Joy of Business OMTimes Radio. We are your hosts for today. I have my special friend here, Doris Schachenhofer, and my name is Laleh Hancock, and we're one of the Joy of Business facilitators, and we've been chatting about uncomfortableness in business, creates or destroys growth, and right before the break, our friend Doris was chitter-chatting about what are these different possibilities that we haven't yet considered. So I wonder, what came up for you, Doris? Was there something else you wanted to share before the music started?
We talked about what is easy for you that would create, money or business or revenue stream more than a hobby. And when I heard this the first time, I was like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Until I got, I have ease with talking to people. I have ease, contributing to people, how we do it in our workshops. This is really easy for me. And as it is so easy for me, I'm like, yeah, everyone can do it. But it's like not everyone has the fun to do it. Not everyone really is interested in doing it. Other people are more interested in computers, and some are more interested in cooking, And so really acknowledging that opened up something completely different for me, because I've done it for years, and I thought it should be something that I'm not already doing, or I'm not already having a business with. And it changed a lot to also acknowledge it, that it's really something that's ease for me, that creates ease for me, that's ease for me, that I love doing. And there a lot of things changed. And I'm still in the question, what else is really easy for me? What else is really where I don't think about it, where when I'm doing it, it's just me being. And this is the question you can ask yourself. So what is it for you? Do you know your thing or one of the things that's really easy for you?
Yeah, I love facilitating. And it's funny because, in Joy Business, we talk about the three energies that your business requires: the creator, the mover, and the connector. And the connector is someone who is willing to talk to anybody and just take that energy of whatever program, service, whatever is desiring to be created, and actually share it with others and connect people to it and connect people to each other. And that was something for me. I've loved talking. Talking is fun for me. But I realized for me, connecting things, whether it's like people to something or people to other people, I so enjoyed that engagement that gets created. And so for a long time, way before Access, but like people always would say, well, that's so easy for you to do, but like, will you ever make money from it other than like being like a salesperson? And I'm like, well, we all are sharing things. So, sales is whatever it is, but like it is. You also can add revenue streams, and revenue streams, possibilities with revenue streams is one of those aspects. Like I see people's worlds light up when I introduce them to someone. Like their whole world expands, their business expands. And so like just that moment of like perceiving that, I feel like I got paid, even though it's not in money form. It's more in the form of energy and consciousness and some other ways that I love. But it also could be the willingness to also receive receive money for the gifts that you're being and the things that you are doing that are contributing. I know money is one of those things that, some people can talk about and some people are not so comfortable talking about. But I'm wondering, is that uncomfortableness that you have with money, or is it the heaviness? Because so many lies about money, so many lies, and for me personally, every year I look at how much the businesses are bringing in and how many other businesses have thrived and grown because my business brought in money and I was able to bring in translators and hosts and social media people and graphics people and book people, like all the people that your business employs that you may not be acknowledging. Like, what a gift when your business grows, because that means the world is growing. Other people's lives are growing.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for that acknowledgement, to really look at that as well. How much when your business is growing, in the same time others are growing as well. So what would be your go-to tool for people when they see themselves in an uncomfortable situation with their business, where they are in total uncomfort? What would you give them and invite them to? Yeah,
the first thing I would say is, would you be willing to just for a moment, just sit and be present with the business? And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be in a meditative form or anything like that, but just for a moment we have such fast lives, just for a moment to take a moment and just ask the business. For me, it's like, business, what are you showing me here? What have I stepped into? What has the business stepped into? But it's just more, be curious and have fun with it when it's uncomfortable. Because it is. You've grown, the business has grown, the world has grown, and it's just a new world that you haven't yet defined, which you don't need to define, but it's just a new adventure. And the question of how can I use this to my advantage? Because advantage isn't about disadvantage to somebody else, but it's your willingness to actually utilize that information, that energy, that new world, and allow you to create something even greater. So that's what I would say. Yeah, what would you say, Doris?
I would give the question of is whatever is going on right now, is there a growth happening? Is there, maybe you have asked for something with your business. Is this already in action? Is this already happening? Because we so often go into doubt, and with uncomfortableness, we would back off and go back or make ourselves smaller or start to hide, And we think, oh my God, I have a bad day or a bad time. I need to be with myself, and then I come back when it's over and everything is fine again. This might be where we destroy our business, because it's the moment of being with it, what you said, and really ask the question to not going into doubt and ask, is this what's happening right now, the expansion of my business? And then I would also say, be with it, celebrate it, and practice and learn to have ease with it. So asking for ease, and that it's nothing you shy away, where it's nothing, where it's be getting hard or it has this uncomfortable to it. We also say, what if your uncomfortable is the new comfortable? What if this is something you are asking for, and say, please, can I have more? We would more say, oh my God, I hate this, or I hate this times where it gets uncomfortable. What if we could ask for, please, can we have more of it? Because it would mean that we all invite ourselves and others to have businesses that grow, to expand, to have more success, to have all these things we are all asking for, but to really have it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I have to say, it's been such a pleasure playing with you today and all the tools. And I love it, because every time we talk, it actually benefits me as well, too.
Me too.
I want to invite everybody to access joyofbusiness.com, where you can find more information about Doris. You can find more information about me, as well as Simone Millicis, who is the creator of Joy of Business, We're doing some Kickstart Your Business classes. I actually have one in 1 hour. I'm so excited about. And I know Simone also has one coming up next week. And then she also has Business Done Different class that she'll be doing from Mexico, and it's streamed around the world. You're welcome to join us there, as well as facilitators all around the world. And if this would be fun for you, come join us. Be a facilitator of Joy of Business. We're all different. We come from all different walks of life and different countries, and it's just so much fun to be there to contribute to each other. And that is happening the end of July 30th in Houston, Texas, in America, as well as being audio live around the world. So I really wonder what is possible when we are willing to have more uncomfortableness in our businesses.
Yes. So that we can watch each other grow and being uncomfortable and having these beautiful conversations, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we also have a book. It's called Joy of Business. So there is a lot of things out there that you can access, play with, come. And I would say business takes a lot of time of our lives. Why should it be hard and exhausting when it can be fun?
Totally.
What can we change together that business gets this part of life that we all love doing, and not that we hate doing most of the time during the week, and then we are so happy when the weekend comes. I know for Laleh and for me, it's often that we don't know which day is, and we work whenever we would like to work. What if this would be our lunch? Last time I wanted to have a new suitcase, and it was a day where you cannot go shopping. So have much more fun. Thank you, Laleh.
Thank you.
See you next time.